This is episode 241 of the Wildlife Photography Podcast. In this episode, safaris, private guiding, and adding value. Hey everybody, my name is Gerry, I am from Walt and I. And this was an interesting podcast for me. Mike and I sat down after he asked a question about how do I keep on kind of adding value to people on a private safari years down the line. I mean, how do you keep on changing and evolving as a guide to keep on adding value? So that was the original kind of topic we were going to sit down on. And then asked people on my Instagram feed to give me some questions, and there was one or two. So we dig into that first, and then we get very real about doing what we do. And it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I think we're going to see more of these kind of things coming out from a content point of view, from our side at least, because I think it's important conversations to have. I really do. So this one goes all over the place, but everything aimed at the guide, the client, private guided safaris, and the value we add during the entire process. I really enjoyed this one, so I hope you guys do as well. Here we go. Okay, Mike, hello.
How's it, G? How are you?
Lacquer you.
Good.
When's your next trip?
What is or when is? When?
And what?
In the week.
Yeah.
In a week's time, I head out to the Mara for a week.
I forgot about that. I thought you and I leaving more or less the same time.
No. So yeah, early September I'm out.
Who are you hosting that one with?
It is Grant Marcus.
Oh, Guppy.
Yes.
Nice.
So it's going to be good. We're going to go look for some mongoose.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Personal joke, Grant. For those of you that did follow along, I think you must be quite excited because when you and I were in the Mara last time, there weren't as many wildebeest around as we really hoped for.
Yes, there wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't.
I think this deck where we're sitting has more wildebeest than the Mara at the time. It was kind of bleak.
Yeah. But it was still a good week, though. I mean, we had a good time, good group, and
100%.
Our staff and our team made it so worth it anyway. So.
Always.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get back up there, and it looks like the weeks just after ours kind of picked up.
There's
quite
stuff
well.
going on there now.
It's unreal.
Jono sent one, I don't know if you saw on Herd Tracker. He sent a picture on our guides group. We have a Wild Eye guides group, which it's better nobody else knows what happens on there. But he sent a picture from the Herd Tracker Instagram, and it is sicker stuff coming up.
Yeah.
So you guys might pop it quite nicely.
I'm excited. I'm hoping for some good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mara always provides something spectacular and something worthwhile seeing and photographing.
And for those of you listening, if you haven't yet, head over to either the Wild Eye Instagram TV channel and watch the video called The Wild Eye Mara Camp. I mean, when we watched that video and the guest started crying, I'm like choking back tears. I'm like,
yeah,
everybody's watching, don't do it. But it's just, that's what it is. It's
very special.
Crazy.
Very, very special place. And yeah, the staff we have there are just unbelievable.
No, it's crazy, man.
They really make that experience.
And then after that, you're going on private, huh?
Yes, I'll be back in office for a week. Then I'm away on a private in Marble Pools.
Okay.
Then I'm in Joburg for a day. So and then back to the Mara.
It's what we do, eh? People think it's a holiday.
Exactly. Yeah. It's I'm gonna have to pack 2 bags before I leave because I'll get back.
That's actually true, eh?
Yeah.
I'm moving house end of October, so I'm starting to pack this weekend my house.
Oh wow!
So I'm literally having to pack for the Mara now.
Jeez.
There's my Mara bag, and then other bags. It's like.
That is crazy.
Why again are we doing this? Anyway, right. So let's get into this.
Sure.
You and I had a quick chat, and you can brief me now. But what I said to people online, and they've got 6 questions here, some are similar, that we're going to talk about how we evolve as photographic and specialist guides. You, me, us, how we should, some ideas and stuff like that. And I asked people what kind of questions they have for us, either from a guide's point of view or from a guest's point of view. So can you just summarize kind of the idea that you wanted to talk about? Just ballpark.
Okay, so it's like when I head into a group safari versus a private safari is very, very different.
Explain to people how, though, because many people still don't get it.
Okay, so a group departure or a scheduled departure is a group of folk who plan to book a safari, and it may be a group of friends, it may be a random group of people who book our safaris, which are on at a set particular time of the year, at set dates, set amounts of people to particular destinations. So you're basically paying for and buying a set package already.
Sure.
Whereas a privately guided safari is quite different, and this can also be a group of people, and it could be a group of mates or family that travel together in a group of 1 to 20 people. It's quite the number of people on that particular safari can vary. But privates are usually a lot more intimate and small groups, so either 1, 2 to 3 people booking a particular safari with a particular guide to a particular destination, and it's all molded around what those guests want, need, and want to go and experience. And the attention that the guests get on a privately guided safari is a lot more than what they would have got on a scheduled departure. Reason being is because it is myself, one guest for the week. And all my attention goes to him or her. And we can focus on their needs all day, every day, and kind of play it by ear as the week goes on. Whereas a scheduled departure is usually a group of between I think some of our safaris have 3 guests. And it goes up to 12.
12 is max, is more, eh?
So there, giving all your attention to one particular individual is basically impossible, because everyone's paying for the same service. And you have to kind of divvy it out and split up between everyone and just share your time and knowledge with everyone in the group. So there are certain things we do in a scheduled departure and certain things we try and do on a privately guided departure, because we obviously have more time to focus on techniques or skills or anything in general while out of the field on a privately guided safari. So my reason for wanting to chat to you is just to kind of build on some ideas, kind of chat amongst each other to kind of enhance a guided experience. And because like we've mentioned, we've been doing this for quite a long time, and obviously if we keep repeating the same thing over and over and over, it's going to become pretty mundane and pretty bland.
I think both for you and a return client.
For sure.
Same. I mean, if I have to do the same thing again and again, it does get like, okay. I think you start going into autopilot, and I'm going to blow smoke. Even if you and I and our guides are on autopilot, we're still better than most because we focus on the guest. But it could be so much more.
This is it,
And that's the thing. It's a tough one. And the analogy that I used recently on a vlog or something for private guide, and this is exactly, and I'm going to try and link this is in a scheduled departure, it's like, let's say you're on my trip, on a scheduled departure, because your attention is so spread, I'm talking to you about exposure compensation, then to this one on composition, then here about aperture. So people sit in the media tent, for example, and they pick up pieces. It's like, I'm going to take balls 1 through 12, throw them in the air, and you're going to try and catch whatever you can.
Exactly.
Where in a private, I'm throwing ball 1, got it, ball 2, got it, so you're going to get all the information.
100%.
The thing, and it's interesting you mentioned this, because I've been wanting to kind of look at this, and I've been focusing on this for a while, is what balls are you giving the client?
This is it. Is it
the same ball 1 as you did with your same client a year ago, and so on and so forth? So before we go into that, I'm going to quickly just jump to some of these. Some of them are random, but some of them I think we can link in. The random ones first. Do you have any plans to add a trip to Sweden or Norway?
Sure.
Okay, cool, man. We go to Svalbard. Check. Okay, 100%. Next one. But no, not other than Svalbard. No, not yet. Iceland, however, we do have.
It's not a matter of.
There's ice in Norway, hey?
There is,
So there's also ice in Iceland.
There is.
So we're going to Iceland. If anybody wants, hit us up. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
Then Shazmeen asked here, and so it's kind of not quite on topic, but let's go with this. Did you ever see the brand growing this big? What inspires you both daily? From your point of view, where you saw us and started, and when you started, what's your thought on that?
Okay, so when I started, what's it now? It's almost 3 years ago.
It's mad.
It is actually. Next month will be September. Will be 3 years, somewhere there. Crazy how time flies. But if I had to look back to then, but also to the brand prior to me starting with Walt and I when I was still at Sabi, the growth and the expansion has been pretty ridiculous. It's been immense. And then obviously listening to you guys, the founders, in our meetings that we have, particularly the strat meetings, and you kind of elaborate on your initial idea around a campfire in Madikwe, and the kind of the plan you laid out back then, seeing where we had got to and reached goals and visions and hopes and dreams that you guys all had around that fire that night, long before the set date or the set time span is pretty immense. So getting to the second question, what inspires you daily? It's everyone in this office.
Yeah, it's true, eh?
Is one thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, looking at how people develop over, may it be the 3 years I've been here, I've seen myself grow tremendously. Trevor, Alistair, Zander, who's our newest member, has been here for, how long has Zander been here? A couple of months?
He's coming up to his 3-month probation thing now.
And
so it's new, hey?
And I mean, just looking at this 3 months and the growth he's had in these 3 months has been tremendous.
But it's amazing because that him growing allows you and I to grow, because it frees us up to do other stuff, and so on and so forth. I had this exact same feeling. I came back from Svalbard and I sat in my corner there, because I sit right in the corner pocket.
In your corner.
And I came back from Svalbard and I sat there being away for like 3 weeks, and I think, what have we done? Because it's going, and Mike's in and out and Trevor's doing his thing. It just, it's like, wow.
It's crazy. So yeah, I did not see the brand growing this quick in my time here.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm so excited for the future. It can only go upwards from here.
Yeah, it's both scary and exciting and kind of uncharted territory, and it's a weird place, but I'm with you. What inspires is definitely what happens in here.
Exactly.
It's no brainer.
This team, may it be I'm out on safari or in office, I mean the team we have here, the base we have here is just phenomenal.
No, it's ridiculous.
And it truly is inspiring. But yeah, and how about yourself, Gerry? Did you see?
No, I mean, the second question, I agree with you. What inspires us? It's this. Did we see it grow this big? We kind of worked on a 20-year plan initially, and we worked in phases. And phase 4 was buying a lodge and running a lodge. We had the camp in the second year. It's like, so what we said at Strat this beginning of the year was, we're in uncharted territory, so we're going to keep on redefining, and that's why. I mean, this is kind of, we're not going to go too deep, but halfway through the year, we readjusted our annual target because we were producing. And I think none of us are the type that's just going to sit back and think, okay, cool, let's just coast. So we just move the target further ahead.
Exactly.
And everybody steps up. It's great. It really is cool.
It is. It is. And I mean, it's only the beginning. It's, what's it, year 8 now for the brand?
Still babies.
So, yes.
As they say, watch the space, eh?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay, there's 2 more.
Okay. 2 more random-ish ones.
These are all... No, 2. So, Callum asks, would you say that your time as a guide was rewarding an experience as you hoped for? Now, I'm going to answer from my side. I didn't hope for anything, quite honestly. So, I went there because at the time it was a lifestyle choice. I'm not the kind of guy to overthink shit. So, for me, the opportunity came to lodge manage. They said, do you want to guide as well? I said, okay, because I had the qualifications.
Yeah.
So, did I hope for it to be something? I didn't, quite honestly. Looking back, this would not have happened if I didn't do that.
100%.
And I wouldn't have gotten there if I didn't retire from gymnastics. So it's very easy to kind of say fate, but I do believe you kind of make your own.
Exactly.
But I didn't hope for anything. Did you hope for something when you started guiding?
No, there wasn't a hope. I mean, people still ask me today, how or why did you get into guiding? How is the easy question, but why, I still don't know.
It's fucking cool. That's why.
Exactly.
I can go drive around and look at lions and shit.
Exactly. So and that was kind of the thought process, because in my conservation studies I was in my second year and I realized, okay, conservation's cool, it's needed, and it is vitally important.
Yeah.
But I'm also a firm believer that conservation goes hand in hand with education.
100%.
And I decided to go down a route of guiding in order to educate other folk. And I like being with people, working with people, mingling with people.
And you're good at that, so it just works.
Thanks.
Yeah. No,
if I wasn't, I wouldn't be here.
That's it. There's truth. Yeah.
But so I like interacting with people like this, and I love sharing knowledge because, and I mean, this is a true fact in life. If you want to remember something, teach.
Yeah.
I decided to go down the guiding route, and yes, it was definitely rewarding. I got to meet incredible people, experience incredible things, and still do. And I think the biggest reward was, if it wasn't for me jumping into the field of guiding, I would never have met Walt and I.
Exactly.
You know,
that's where we met at Toby.
Exactly. I wouldn't have been sitting here today. So definitely extremely rewarding.
Yeah.
But no, it wasn't what I hoped for. It was better if I did hope for anything. I mean, I had incredible experiences, but you can't really hope for anything out there. I mean,
at the risk of being a bit schwa, we spoke about schwa yesterday. It's like, ooh, let's hug a dussy, bro. It's like that. For me, I don't hope for stuff. Like, I can sit here and hope that I'm going to get home and there's a new car in the driveway. Or I can hope that I'm going to be rich one day.
Exactly.
I decide that I want something and I work for it. So that's one side of it. Also, and I'm programmed differently maybe, but was it rewarding? Yes, it was rewarding, but I'm not going to hop on it because yes, it was great, but now I want something else or I want something more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
It's that. So I'm not one to look back. It just messes with your neck if you look back all the time. So I don't know. I dig the question, but yeah, I didn't hope for anything, and it was a rewarding step to the next thing.
Definitely.
Maybe that.
Each day is rewarding.
100%.
Every little bit you do is rewarding. I mean, if you're going to sit in office and sit on Instagram or play games all day, if you see that as being rewarding, then cool, dude. You've had a good day.
That's it.
But if you step into office with an end goal in mind and trying to get to the next step,
100%, man.
If you've achieved it or not, it's rewarding. If you've put in the time to get a bit closer to the end goal, it's been rewarding.
We're going to slide off topic, but
100%.
I do think that a lot of people judge rewarding. Like, people look at my life and they think that must be so rewarding. Yeah, but you don't know where I'm coming from. Like you said earlier, I'm starting to scratch at what I think I want to get to.
Exactly.
So it's just a process.
Exactly.
People judge other people too quickly because they don't know where they're coming from.
This is true. And again, they judge what we do and say
I just made a line on my pants. Fuck. Sorry, carry on.
It looks good though.
Yeah, let's make one here as well. Sorry, I'm playing with a pen and then I made a line on my pants. Anyway, you were saying?
Yes, that threw me off now. What
Sorry,
was I going to say?
Being rewarding and judging other people.
Oh yes, so many people tell us that what we do for a living is rewarding and it's awesome and it's a holiday job. And yes, it is rewarding. But again, it's not. We're doing what we do because we love what we do. We're good at what we do. But we're also doing it to build a brand, make a living,
100%.
Live a happy life. And a lot of the time, people don't see, if I may, the shit we eat in order to reap the rewards.
Huge.
I mean, sitting in office here for 2 weeks, it's not like we sit here and chat and talk nonsense the whole day. There's a lot of graft that goes into
people. I mean, I don't know if you this. I mean, so you got your to-do list and whatever. So I wake up 2-3 in the morning sometimes, and my head starts going, and I'm like in a complete holy hell, all of that has to happen today. Oh, but Gerry, you only run safaris. You go into the bush all the time. No.
Yeah, for sure.
The bush is the pinnacle of all the work that happens underneath, and those are the highlights you see on Instagram. I don't want to post all the cuck I do in here all day long.
Yeah.
It's
boring.
No.
It's hard.
Spreadsheets and planning and emails, and it's like whatever, man.
Exactly.
Anyway,
but cool question.
Another topic. We're going to get back one day maybe to that.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's one more random-ish question, but it brings us closer, and then there's two that's similar. Gallant Exploration 2 asks, as an aspiring wildlife photographer and potentially a guide, where do I start? What do you think?
At the beginning.
Exactly, just start. Moving on. But that's the thing.
Yeah.
People talk too much. And no offense, Gallant Exploration 2, but people keep on asking, how can I be better? How can I be better? Have you got a camera and started photographing? Have you emailed a guiding course? Have you phoned someone?
Exactly.
Just start.
Down on ground level, yeah.
Just start. Don't, and it's a cliched quote these days, but the idea of your chapter 1, my chapter 15. But even your chapter 15 versus my chapter 15, it's different books.
Very different.
But people
we're writing a different story.
100%. Because we have a bit of a profile, people look at you and say, ooh, I want to be like Mike. How can I get there? Well, you can't look at Mike today and Mike 10 years ago.
Yes.
Where do you...
Very different mics.
So,
indeed.
Go, just start, man.
Indeed.
Just stop asking questions. Stop listening to listen to the podcast first. But stop getting on Instagram. Go and make images and share it. Go and find a course, read a book, just start.
Exactly.
It's not difficult.
I mean, if I can give my 2 cents worth, is I don't know how much this individual's dealt with people or worked with people, but to me that's a big thing, and I've seen it in my 3 years here. As a lodge-based guide, you obviously have your management above you, so if things go a bit pear-shaped and guests are unhappy, yes, you kind of filter through to management and they take it from there.
Yeah, you just pass the ball on.
But in that process you learn, and you learn so much about dealing with people and people's problems and issues and safety and ethics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And to me, if this individual wants to be where we are in the next 10 years, my biggest thing is get that experience.
Yeah.
Working with people before you try and venture into something like this. Because the amount of times I've had to sit management down at a lodge or a camp that we're staying at.
Now, from a wildlife point of view.
Yeah, from a wildlife point of view. To get things to the level of service I'm expecting or the guest's expecting, or if something goes wrong, that you know how to handle the situation. Because I've heard many stories, and I've actually witnessed one before where a guide coming into the industry we currently in, not having guided in lodges for 3, 4, 5 years, and poop hits the fan, and this guy's trying to sort it out, but he looks like a deer in the headlights. He doesn't know which way to go, what to do.
Doesn't know what happens behind the scenes.
That's the thing. And another thing, I actually got a compliment from a guest in Uganda, telling me how respectful I am towards the staff and understanding I am towards the staff. And the reason we, yourself, myself, Gerry, Trevor, Alistair, Marlon, everyone, the reason we like that is because we understand what it's like to be on that receiving end of a rant.
Sit in that vehicle, drive.
Exactly.
Get the calls over lunch. People shouting because something's wrong.
Yeah, we understand. And I mean, that to me is vitally important. And when we say start in the beginning, that's it.
Yeah.
Do a guiding course, pick up a camera, shoot, and get to know people.
You made me think of two things. Number one, I think the syllabi. Oh, syllabuses. It's like mongooses. Mongeese. The syllabus for most guiding courses don't deal with this enough.
No.
I don't think it deals with this enough. I also don't think it deals with financial acumen enough. Because guides, I know guys who blow 60k a month when they go on leave because that's their grat. And
in like 2 weeks, not even. Yeah.
Really?
That's crazy.
If I could go back, dude, I'll crush it. But okay, so different. But I was thinking now, just on to wrap this one up. There's an American author called Neil Gaiman, I think he's called.
Okay.
So I love his New Year's quotes. I always use them.
Okay.
And he writes like stories and stuff. But he did a commencement speech or address at some university, and I'm trying to get this right. He said, there's 3 things if you do work, and I'm trying to link you this to guiding. There's 3 things. Number 1, you're a good person, you do good work, and you're on time. You can get away with 2 at a time. So you can be a miserable bastard, but if you have good work and you're on time, people will still go for it.
Yeah, for sure.
You could be a great person, your work is average, but you're always on time. People will maybe go for it. Or you could be a great person, great work, and a little bit late, and people will still go for it.
Exactly.
In this industry, though, you do one of those wrongs, you're out.
Yeah.
Because you're with people 24/7, and we're getting closer to the question, but you're with people all the time. You can't be a miserable bastard when you wake up. You don't have that choice. People don't pay for me to go on a trip and be moody.
Exactly.
They pay for me to be me, for you to be you.
Exactly.
You can't be late because game drive, cheers, bye.
Yeah.
Right, you know what I mean? Or let's meet at 1 o'clock for Lightroom, you rock up at 2. Not going to fly.
Exactly.
Don't care how nice you are.
Exactly.
And you have to be on top of your game. Because in certain situations, at the extreme, if you're not on top of your game, bad things happen.
Indeed.
Positioning, cars, whatever. So it's just an interesting thought.
And that also kind of links back to, I don't know whose question it was, about being on holiday and just enjoying a good, easy life.
Yeah.
I mean, we all human. I mean,
100%.
you can't say that every single day on safari you're the most positive individual in the world. But you have to...
I might not be inside, but outside you won't know.
That's the thing,
Yes.
Because you have to, for the industry and for the guest's sake...
Our guests are listening to this saying, what the hell? Like, what?
Are they never happy?
Never knew. No,
guys,
and it's truth.
We happy, but we human. Everyone's
100%.
human, and people have highs and lows. You're happy, you're sad. There could be issues at home, whatever it may be. And emotionally and
Highs and lows.
mentally, that is extremely challenging at times.
I love what you said now. Look, we're going all over. This is cool. You don't have work to do, hey? No, cool. Me neither.
I do, but it's
Yeah, it's fun.
long day.
The high and lows is... And I've been talking in vlogs and stuff a bit more, and I'm going to go down this road more about anxiety, depression, mental health, and traveling. And no disrespect to anybody that has a normal office job, but the highs and lows there is based on your circumstances. So, for example, if your boss gives you a shitty day, you have a low.
Yes.
Next day, he gives you a punch on the shoulder, and it's like, yay, that's up. So,
punch on the shoulder.
You're like, well done, buddy. It's like, on the chin, one of those. But if your boss does that, it's probably like sexual harassment or something.
Yeah.
So no. But
People...
if you look at the extremes we live in, right? One day you're with gorillas, next day you're traveling and you're tired. Our highs and lows are so extreme, and it's something I've been very cognizant of the last while, because I would, after a trip, you come home for one night, you're tired, you got to lift yourself up again, and it's challenging. It is very difficult, and I'm going to talk about this more. And if you're keen, we can dig into this one day.
100%.
But the highs and the lows in this industry is dramatic. Like, you are fucking tired after 2 weeks back-to-back migration trips.
Exactly, yeah.
You wake up on that last morning, now you've got to deal with lost luggage and. But then 2 days later, you're tracking gorillas, and it's this So the mental roller coaster of very high, very low.
Exactly.
I find that a very interesting conversation that nobody wants to have.
No,
I really do.
I'll
no, not you. The industry as a whole.
For sure. But
I want to bring that up because it's
I'll
a big
happily
thing.
chat to you. No,
it's a
it is.
huge thing.
It is, and people, and a lot of the time, people don't kind of, well, they're too scared to open up about that, if I may. And if there is a low and they're
100% scared.
you know, people don't want to chat about it. And I mean, I've made myself a lot more available to friends nowadays.
Yeah.
And I'm
but
spending,
it's a choice.
Exactly.
Yes.
And I mean, I was chatting to them last weekend saying that, because I just returned from Kenya. I hosted a private in the Mara, and they asked me how it was and how was the week prior to that back in office. And in all honesty, I mean, to me, it felt like a blur. I can't remember anything about that week. Because I got back, I had the week in office, I left.
Yeah.
But things were so busy, and you were so doubled down
ticks
into
along.
Yeah, that you finish at last mail, send, get in your car, get home, wake up. I have to go to the airport now. It's like, flip, what happened this past week?
Yeah.
Where was I? So yeah, mentally it throws you.
And then if I can jump on the back of that, so that happens,
Mm.
and then you come back and think, maybe again different, but then you start thinking, what's happening? I've just lost a week because I'm so, and it just spirals.
Exactly.
This kind of stuff, I kid you not, if you're a guide, you, Galant Exploration, want to get into the industry, this is the kind of stuff that you need to be aware of.
Yes, 100%.
Because if you have any kind of mental issues coming in, you need to prepare yourself.
Yeah.
You need to be ready for the extreme highs and lows. And it's extreme. I mean, I once went from Svalbard, polar bears,
Ice cold.
high, fucking proper high.
Yeah.
Then travel for 2 days. You drop down. Now I'm on 14 flights in 2 days. Okay, not that, but you know.
That's insane.
And then the next day you meet your clients and you track gorillas again.
Yeah, it's rough.
So you and for me, we're all over the place, but I'm enjoying this. Is the training? So I know you're back into training and stuff, but that's an anchor.
Yes.
It's for me. It's nothing to do with physical. It's literally just this.
That's
all it is.
It's your time.
That resets me. That reboots me. It gives you time to process the highs and the lows.
Exactly.
So,
Wash out the unnecessary.
Mike, you and I are going to have this discussion at some stage.
Sounds fun.
Okay,
It's
so
going to be an interesting one.
oh yeah, gonna go deep. I actually kid you not. Maybe one Friday we have a drink downstairs and we film it there.
Yeah.
Okay, last two questions from Mary and Shiftless Jungle Bum,
Interesting.
which
name.
is a unique handle. I'm not gonna
Very
lie to
cool,
you.
very cool.
But the idea between both of these gets us now to our question.
Okay.
Right. So Marie asks, "Hi, how do you work with a group where everyone has a different skill level, photographically, of course?" And Jungle Bum says, "How do you approach teaching working with a group that all have different skill levels?" So it's pretty much the same.
Same question.
So to lead us into the question that you and I are going to just dig into a little bit, how do you deal with that?
Okay, so I wanted to bring it up when you were chatting about it, but I decided we'll leave it for these two questions. But you were chatting when you're on a scheduled departure and there's a big group and one guy asks about exposure compensation, one guy asks about composition, one guy asks about slow shutter techniques, whatever it may be. The thing I really struggle when guests don't ask me questions because I don't know what you're thinking, I don't know what level you are. Sometimes, particularly for newbies, if I may, are too scared to ask.
Yes.
And again, like we were just chatting, things get busy. Sometimes you forget to ask.
Yes.
You know, you think about a question as you wake up. Flip, I need to ask Mike about exposure compensation. Go out on safari, have the most epic leopard sighting, and then forget about exposure compensation question. And to me, what I see helps a lot with dealing with different people, different skill levels within a group is I like to get, I'm not going to like herd them together and say, okay, now at 2 o'clock we're going to sit. But I'll mention to everyone and say, listen, myself and Linda are going to be speaking about exposure compensation at 2 o'clock. Whoever wants to come and listen in, feel free. I'll use the Mara camp as an example because of the media tent. There's often people sitting in there. And Deborah may be into her computer processing, but then she hears someone asks about composition, breaking the rules, whatever, and she'll be like, flip, this may be interesting. She closes her laptop and listens. And then this might spark a question that she had previously in the day or a couple of days ago. And this is a good way of dealing with it, is because regardless of your level of photography or wildlife, whatever it may be, you can pick up and learn bits and pieces from conversation. So I like making it like a mingling conversation where everyone speaks about different topics, which helps a lot. But I also do dedicate time, particularly for very fresh photographers coming in. I definitely dedicate some time to them to double down on the more basic things that people who may be of a different level have already heard a million times.
Yes.
But I'm also saying this always trying to get the folk who have learned the basics from way back when to listen into this conversation. Reason being is because myself as well, I often forget. It's quite loud. I often forget about the basics. And if you don't start off at basics every single day, you're gonna mess up somewhere. So I always try and get the group who do understand the basics well to listen into that.
Exactly. The open forum of a media tent or a group is great because so one of the things I do as well is, so you guys must sound like we're sitting in New York with all these sirens.
It sounds it.
We're not. I don't know what's going on. But so one of the things I would do in an open forum, so people are sitting around the desk and doing their own thing, downloading, and by walking around once and talking to each person, and it might be, oh, this is cool. Have you tried to crop it like this? Go around. Okay, show me this. If you tried the black slider, well, I'm making shit up here. And you keep on going around because that open forum, in the same way that you get that group together and say, I'm going to talk about monochrome or whatever now, that stimulates questions. Exactly. And if I say to someone, oh, if you do this and you hit R as the shortcut, someone's like, oh, sorry, what's the shortcut?
Yes.
And then you can start bouncing.
Yes.
Now, from a guide point of view,
that momentum picks up quick.
100%. So the guide thing, where the guides must, if you want to do this, you must understand that your attention is pulled in 20 directions, which, if you're a bit ADD like me and like you sometimes, I dig that.
Yes.
So we're jumping around.
Yeah.
So that also, to answer this question, same thing. So I go on. Dennis once said to me, Dennis, regular client of ours, he said to me that I go for weakness. And I never knew what he meant, but it's exactly that. So I will, by going around a couple of times, on the first, second day, you start seeing what people are good at. I tend to scratch at the things people are bad at.
Yes.
Because I know that's where I can improve you. So that's a big thing. I think it was you and I. It's the first time I've did this, but it was with the 33-minute thing.
That was awesome.
So it came up out of nowhere, and that's the kind of stuff I know I'm going to do more of. I mean, even on a small group thing, is Mike and I sat across the table from each other, 10 people, for example, and then we would be 3 minutes with one person. And literally, I had my alarm on my phone going.
No, it was less than that.
Was
it 3 minutes?
I can't remember.
No, it was 3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes.
Yes, that was the fastest 3 minutes.
It's fast.
Yeah.
And then each person has you for 3 minutes, so it's gamified. And literally, clock goes, we move. Sorry, stop talking, next.
Yes.
And I think what that did, thinking about it now, because I was looking for something different to do, but it made people actually think about what they want to ask. Exactly. You're forcing the question.
Exactly.
Which makes it easier for us to do that. So that's definitely something we need to look at again.
Definitely, I think, just to back you on that, when you give people time, because what I usually do is I like to give guests on the safari, may it be a private, may it be a schedule. If it's a schedule, I'll schedule slots and times for everyone to do this exercise. But I like to get the guests processing the images, and then I'll do a review of it.
Yes.
Because I don't want to, because I mean, I can look at your images, I'll process them, you're going to look at them and say, flip, that's crap.
Yeah.
Or it's amazing, or whatever. Because what the game we're in is creativity. There are no rules. So what I may think looks incredible, you may not. So I get the guests to do this because then I get to see what kind of style they're moving into.
It gives you a frame of reference for me to work as the guide.
Exactly. And then I can obviously give them pointers on what's good, what's bad, what can enhance the look of this image. What I see, and I see this works very, very well. But in turn, with that quick 3 minute thing you had, you said you get people to force these questions out of themselves. And they're not left wondering and pondering. So if you tell them, listen, I'm going to give you 3 days to think of questions, come speak to me then they're going to go they're going to dig too deep into these questions.
100%.
So yeah, that 3 minute thing was cool.
So that's, I mean, those are some of the ideas of how we work with different levels. And what we found is after that, so we did a couple of 3 minutes, someone will come back, oh, can we go deeper?
Yes. 100%.
And then, or, oh, I heard you did this with Deborah, can we do this? So that to me was a good thing. I do think though, and now, so on a group departure that works.
Yes.
On a private, and this is the evolution I think that we all need to be aware of, and it's a difficult thing because, and I promise you this, if I had to be doing the same thing now that I was last year and the year before and the year before, I would literally have packed my stuff up. I cannot be bored, me personally.
I cannot be bored.
No, I cannot be bored. I need to do something. It's a problem. But from a teaching point of view, so, and the problem is, not the problem, this is a good thing, but we're getting a lot of return people coming back again and again.
No,
so,
it's not a problem at all.
how do we as photographic educators, someone who's supposed to teach and inspire, how do we evolve, not only I think as people and teachers and photographers, but in a service provider for that client?
Yeah.
What do you think? Because it's something I've been getting, and it's amazing you asked this, because it's something I thought of beginning of this year, knowing kind of what I'm going to be doing, and just a different approach to it. So how do you deal with that for now? I mean, or what do you struggle with in that instance? Because
so
it's important.
what I struggle with is just finding new things, new ideas. And you're speaking strictly private here, yeah?
Yeah. Now we private go one-on-one with a guest who has you for them.
Okay. So I usually, if I know the guest, like you said, you know their weakness, and you double down on this. But obviously, for the first couple of days, to me, I don't leverage on helping and teaching and providing knowledge off the bat on day one, day two. I want to get to know exactly what the one's needs and expectations are of the guest joining me.
Yeah.
And then from there, I start doubling down and digging in. But I spend a lot of time, like that processing I was telling you about, giving the guest time to process, to develop their own style, is because you don't only have a photographic style and way of doing things, but you also have the processing style and way of doing
100%,
things.
yeah.
And that's why I'm not a big fan of sitting and processing the images, or all the images for the guests. If there's really one that's like wow and it's a award-winning type image, I'll definitely sit in and process from start to end with the guest. But I usually let them develop by themselves first, in order for me to then obviously see what their weaknesses are and where they can develop and grow from there. But I'm starting to find myself in a situation where the guests I'm hosting now are regular and repeat guests.
And you know each other.
Yes, we know each other very, very well, and we know where they do things well and not so well, and how they can grow. But it's incredible to see the growth of these guests that I've been traveling with for the past 3 years.
Absolutely.
And how they've developed from 3 years ago to now. It's actually pretty ridiculous and so rewarding. Again, Callum's question, it's very rewarding seeing stuff like that.
But, and can I jump in? Because of that, and this is a psychological thing again that people won't address. So now you seeing, let's take Linda, we both know her.
Yes.
If you're listening, Linda, this is a compliment to you. But
Big one,
if you look at where you start and where you are now as the client. So now I start thinking, this is the shit that happens in my mind at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So I'll wake up because, I don't know, alarm or dog snores or whatever. So now I'm awake and my mind starts going, you think, okay, cool. So Linda, as a receiver of education, has gone from 10 to 90. Have I, as the educator, kept up with that? And for how long can I keep up with that?
That's it.
This is a legit question.
Yes, and that's where I'm finding myself.
I don't ever I don't ever want to be in a position where I'm sitting with a private guided client on the banks of the Zambezi at the Mara camp in Svalbard, wherever. Private to Svalbard, that's a sweet idea.
Yes.
Anybody wants this private to Svalbard, talk to us.
Yes.
Ching ching. But I don't want to be sitting there feeling like I'm not adding value.
Yes. No, that's probably one of the worst feelings.
Because people don't understand. And the thing is, and I think the reason we feel it stronger than others is, and this is not, I'm not even making this shit up, most people doing what we do don't do what we do.
But again, it's...
They don't double down on the client aspect. They do it for themselves.
Exactly.
And it's a tough thing mentally to try and do that. So how do you deal with that? What do you do?
But the thing is, I'm also, now I don't know if I'm the only one in this boat, but every single safari I'm on, may it be a private, may it be a Pilansberg weekend break, whatever it may be, I'm forever, from start to end on that safari, I'm always double guessing myself. Or like telling myself, you're not doing enough.
I think that's a good thing.
Am I doing enough for the guests?
It's called the knock.
That's...
Did I tell you about the knock?
No. What's
So David Duchemin, he's been on the podcast in the past, Canadian photographer.
Oh, cool.
And he used to be a comedian.
Okay.
But so first he studied to be a pastor or something, then stand-up comedy, then a photographer.
Wow, what a journey.
I thought I was diverse.
Actually,
Check that out.
Was it rewarding? And
Yeah,
was it what he hoped
there it is. But so he said the
great.
comedian is a guy they used to do. They used to be on stage. People loved them on stage. Yeah, you're amazing. But then you go back to your dressing room afterwards and you're like, even though everybody said that accolade was great, you're waiting for someone to knock at the door and say, Mike, we're on to you. You're not as good as you think you are.
Yeah.
Any creative person, singer, songwriter, photographer, doing education, blah, 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 that's always there.
Yeah. I'd hate to see
All
that door in my
the
mind
time.
because it's just knocking.
Because all the time. And I'm with you 100%. So how do you deal with it? What are you doing? And what do you think? I've got ideas, but what do you think you can do to feel, and not only feel like, but to really add value? What is the step?
Flip.
You know what I mean? This is the question I ask myself.
And it's like, off the bat like that, it's a tough question to answer, because a lot of what I do is you kind of, if I may, you wing it in a way. So you kind of head into a safari with a plan and a vision and hopes and the end goal. But it's so group and guest related.
100%. You got to feed off that energy as well.
Exactly.
I think of it. I mean, every person in this office, all the guides, not Zander or Tanya, because they're not going to teach photography.
Of course. Yeah.
But everybody in here, I'm making an analogy in my mind. So, for example, you said winging it. Some people might think, oh, I'm not going to travel with him. No, this is a good thing, because you winging it would be, for example, if I'm going to go for basketball lessons, LeBron James can wing it while he teaches me. He still knows his shit.
So well,
there's background and experience and knowledge and teachability that winging it for him still brings value to me.
Of course, yeah.
Because you are who you are, because I am who I am. The guys, blah, blah, blah. But the knowledge, the experience, having photograph lines in the rain, shaking, leopards going up and down trees, elephants drinking water, you winging it is still value.
For sure.
People must understand that. And sometimes, especially if it's a new client, like I had Linda for a private, I know her, so my approach to her was different, because I've shot with her many times before. Then my second private now recently was Chuck and Sue. I knew them a little bit from the Mara, but not really. So there, for the first day, absolutely wing it. But winging it for me at that time is assessing the client.
Exactly.
And in my mind, I'm looking for weakness. What can I go after? Because I'm not going to say, oh, Chuck, well done, you're such an amazing photographer, look at the color in your images, whatever. Because that's there. I'm looking, what can I fix?
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't mean fix in a negative way. What can I make better?
Yeah.
So winging it, I think in this instance is a great way to put it.
100%.
It's why you're assessing it.
Exactly. So when I said winging it, it's like you explained quite well there, but it's not just going in and
I love
what
that.
happens.
I think it's great.
There is a process that you have in mind and things you're going to focus on and work on, but you have to feed off of their energy, because I mean, and I'm sure you've experienced it as well. Sometimes you get quiet people, if I may, who join you on safari, and to you it seems as if they don't want to learn, or they're here to be out in the field and photograph, but when you're at the lodge or at the camp, you don't see them. They disappear.
To the room or whatever.
Exactly. And if they have questions they'll ask, you can answer. So each group and each.
But do you? I know I do. Do you take that personally sometimes?
Yes, 100%.
I try not to, but
100%.
Each person is different, and I think the reason that you and I take it personally is also the reason why we win.
Exactly.
Because it means so much.
Yeah.
I think it has to
drives you more, and like that continuous knock in your mind as well. Am I doing enough? Are they going to be satisfied?
That knock
with the service?
It's a bitch. If you can deal with that,
that's probably another getting down to what motivates you every day. I think it's that also motivates me when I'm on safari, is thinking I get to bed at night, lie down before I sleep. Did I do enough for the guests today? And every single day I probably say no, knowing that I did a hell of a lot for them, but I always
because you think there's more.
Exactly.
But
it's a big driving force. It's good.
No, 100%. But then if you look at back and you think, if I gave more, and I know this because I've had people to me say on a private, like let's say it's a 7-day private, 3 days in, listen, I just need a break. Not from me, because I'm awesome and you're awesome. Not from me, but because I overload.
Yes.
And if people get it, and this is how they got the photography initially. So I'll talk about process now, but they got ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, and they just like, whoa, can we just this afternoon have a drink and look at the elephants? Fucking A.
Sure.
But then in the evening I think, should I have rather pushed more?
Yeah.
But it's a fine balance of wanting and needing to add value and matching with the guest requirement at the time, because some days people are better than others. It's a psychological thing.
Exactly.
Some days I can get 15 emails done. Today I've done 1 because I just don't want to. You know what I mean? It's that.
Not done much because I had plumbing to flip and sort out.
How's that going?
So annoying, bro.
It's bad.
Yes, a whole week of plumbing issues.
We should do a podcast on your plumbing issues.
It's going to be such a bad one. No one's going to want to listen to
that.
No,
it's bad. Don't listen to episode 317.
What number is this?
This is 241, I think.
Wow, proper.
No, we're getting there.
Yeah, so...
I think... Excuse me. So, what I've done the last while... So, for me, I got bored with doing aperture shutter speed. I'm over that. So, I took the approach two ways. Number one, why? People must hate me after the first afternoon in the field. I ask them why all the time. So, Mike, what are you shooting an elephant? Why?
Yes.
Because it does two things for me. It makes me understand what happens in the client's mind, because people don't talk as much as we do all the time. Why are you photographing an elephant? No, because I like the background. Okay, but put your camera down for a second. Can you see that there's a vehicle behind there? You didn't think about that.
Exactly.
So by asking why all the time, and I say to them on the first day, listen, I'm going to be pushing and prodding and poking and scratching you in different ways. Photographically speaking, of course, because otherwise it's weird. That doesn't sound right, hey?
But it makes sense.
But photographically. So I keep asking why of them.
Okay.
That helps me, like you said earlier, to get the questions out. Is why do you... they ask me, what should my shutter speed be? I ask, what are you photographing?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I answer with questions.
So what should my
Especially
ISO,
initially.
What's your shutter speed?
Don't ask me that stuff, because I'm going to come back at you with a question. I've moved, on a private basis, I've tried to move heavily away from technical.
Okay.
Like, I'm talking dramatically so. Like, Linda and I almost didn't do technical at all that I can remember.
But her technical is obviously...
So on the first
now.
day, it's a refresher.
Yeah. She's
So
getting there.
I take it back all the time, because if I look at an image, nobody cares what the shutter speed is. It's the foundation of a house. It must be there, otherwise it's going to collapse.
It's pin and
The
sharp.
creative is up.
Yeah.
So with Linda, I didn't do any technical teaching. Maybe change this button, or ergonomics, use this rather than that. Whereas with Chuck and Sue was brand new, more technical teaching. But I had them for 4 days. I try and move past technical in day one. Because I don't think it's fair that people pay me in the field to tell them what shutter speed they should be using, because that they can Google. Simple as that. So I then double down, and the approach I've been taking is, and it's like, ooh, let's like smoke a spliff and hug a tree, bro. It's like out there. But it's more about, it's about, let's create. I'm not going to do a digital photography course with you for 5 days or for 7 days. We do that on day one. Let's get on the same page. This is shutter speed. This is your lenses. 1 over focal length. Blah blah blah. Do you know what aperture does? Draw the picture, line, focus area. We do all that on day one, and then it's how can you use those things to be creative?
Yeah.
And the only thing this year that I've been so heavy on is visual mass and visual energy. It's show me your image. So I'm always like you, behind the client. When they shoot, and I say to them, just pop the shoulder, and they just do this, and it's like, okay, but what do I feel here, or what do I see, or where's the energy going? And if you describing that correctly to them, and I say to them, where's the energy going? They know they've fucked up because the elephant's walking into the frame. Oh, okay, cool, done. Yes. Not the rule of thirds, not technical. What does this make you feel?
I'm also very hard on that.
It makes them understand more. Because the visual, and for those of you that have been in the field with me and have heard this recently, I can say to you, whiskey good. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
I can say whiskey is nice, which is the same message, different delivery. I can say, I quite enjoy this glass of whiskey. It's all the same story, but better delivery.
Exactly.
And that's my summary for the last while.
100%.
It's literally, move past the technical. I don't care about it. Does the image work? How do you read it? How does it process it? And then we go into processing and enhance that. Why do you crop it like this? Oh, because the rule of thirds. No. Look at it. Open your eyes. Look. It goes there. Where does my energy go? Give it space to go.
100%. 100%.
And I find that because... And look, we're going to have this discussion again a year from now, because I'm doing this, you're doing this, a lot of the guys are starting to do this. But initially, our return clients are up to speed with us now. They're getting this kind of information. Now they're more into the creative, the art side, the craft of it. And end of this year, I will have another set and think, how am I going to change? What else can I bring to the table?
Exactly.
But it's not the teaching of the technical anymore. I really don't think so.
100%. I'm also like, when I head into a safari, particularly with, depending on the level of skill they are at, I also try and move off technical quite quick. But I usually, if it's a 9-day safari, I kind of limit myself and say, okay, by like day 4, I'm gonna kind of be off.
Throw ball 1, ball 2, ball 3.
Exactly.
Done. Got it.
And I've always got this mindset going where I'm not going to spoon feed you all the time. Because if I keep spoon feeding you, you're always going to be reliant on this little spoon coming.
Yes.
Which is a big problem. Because when you come back again next year and I'm not there,
now what?
And you're traveling alone or whatever it may be, who's going to be helping you?
Yeah.
Which is a big problem. And in turn, this will, you're not getting your true value. if people aren't taking that in. And
I think the other thing that by asking people questions in the field, it makes them think for themselves, which is a start to all of that.
100%.
The one thing I think, and this is also something that I found quite valuable the last while, is any client I know, they send me, when I start talking to them initially, I go and stalk to the depths their Instagram handle, see what photographs they are producing. Depending on where we're going, I might say to them in a Skype or an email, okay, cool, send me images that you would like to get of the place. Go and look on my website, my Smug Mug, find an image, I want this, I want that, I want this. Often, if you do that enough, you start seeing a trend of what they're attracted to.
Exactly, yeah.
So then, also to give them, with everything we've spoken about, give them a goal. By the end of this trip, I want a 12 image portfolio. And your theme for this trip, let's take Amboseli for example, is water and dust. That's actually pretty good. Must remember that. But
Water
that's
and
your
dust.
theme.
Yeah.
12 images by the end of this trip. So keep that in mind. You need to diversify, blah, blah, blah. But by knowing what someone expecting of a destination,
It's a big thing.
if you're going to go to Monopools, you're expecting elephants in good light, in a forest.
Standing on
That's
their
cool. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
If
But
you're lucky.
If you're lucky. But you're not going to then hang around by the river. So we can do everything we can, but photographically then
They're
is,
ready as well.
I know what you're looking at. So I'm behind you, you shooting this thing. I'm here. Okay, wait. Your shot that you were looking for is there. That's the value. And then the energy and the feel of it.
100%.
There's so much actually, hey?
Yeah, for sure. What I also love doing is, because again, you don't always know how much homework your guests joining you have done prior to arriving.
Of an area.
Of an area, yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's actually, to be honest, it's quite scary how little homework people do before they come.
Big time.
It's like, what? Where are we going? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Just come.
isn't
Get in
Mon-
that vehicle, you'll get there.
Isn't Monopools in Kenya?
Something like that. So it's actually crazy how little homework people do. They've seen one or two images and get attracted to it, or gorillas, I need to see a gorilla, let's go.
Yeah.
And what I think helped out quite a lot, so my gorilla safari this year in June, I sat Anne down,
Yes.
and I ran through a number of images that I had taken throughout my time with gorillas, and just kind of different techniques, different lighting, different views on composition, using natural framing, using different family members, and to me I find that works quite well.
Absolutely.
Because and I ask a lot of, probably every single one of my guests that join me, do you have any images in mind or ideas in mind that you want to try and create? And a lot of them saying, I'll take what comes, in a way. Whereas, and this gets back down to what inspires us daily, is I often look at other people's work and things that I really enjoy and really like, I'd save or just really think about hard and long about, so that kind of subconsciously is sitting in my mind.
Yeah.
That it's always lingering there. And I mean, your subconscious is running so much.
Oh, absolutely.
And like right now, we're chatting about all of these questions, but we're thinking about plumbing. It's an issue.
Yeah. Still, eh?
Forever. We're thinking about things, and it's always in your subconscious. It's always there. And to me, I find, and I mean, you could see an image today and say, flip, I want to get an image like this. Like your elephants fighting an Amboseli image.
Jeez.
Man, I pray for that daily. I mean, that is...
That was mad,
insane shot. That is beautiful, and I have high hopes for something like this. And I mean, it could have. I saw it. My next trip to Amboseli, boom! I nailed the shot.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet, unfortunately.
But because you've done your homework, you'll be ready when it happens.
This is what I'm trying to get to.
I need people to do that because, and you say, some people say they don't know. I think we, and I'm including myself, we need to be more aggressive, saying to people no. And this might even be a thing, and I'm thinking of other things I do as well, but fill in this form for me. You book the private, I know we're going.
Yes.
10 images. I need this from you before we go.
Yes, 100%.
And it's not just for me to help you, but it's for your photographic mind to get its vitamins, to be ready. That's good as well. But to be ready when that happens. Otherwise, like, holy shit, what am I... Oh, God, I want to photograph that.
Too late. Or you mess it up.
You have to have that visual in your mind.
Yeah,
I've even said to once, when we went to Spirit Bears last year, Canada, the one lady's like, Spirit. So I said, go and watch a movie. She's never photographed bears before. Go and watch a documentary or Google clips on grizzly bears. If you know how they move, and I can tell you this, but I think pre-prepping the guest for it, it just works.
Exactly.
I think another thing for me is I'm pulling in processing techniques and composition ideas and approaches from non-wildlife. So when we sit down, people have, and I know people have watched our workflows and they've worked with us, blah, blah, do your blacks, your whites, da, 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 da. And every once in a while I say, okay, but what if you do this now? Or what if, and I think that's the value we can add, is to pull people out of the rhythm, have them work towards a goal, but not do it in their own rhythm, and just push them out of that comfort zone. So I'm going to get you here, you might not go in a straight line, you might do this, but we'll get there.
Exactly.
As long as they trust you.
Yeah. And we have to do it to ourselves as well.
All the time.
I found myself doing was prior to, was just after our migration week.
Yes.
And I think it was just after that. See, things get crazy. Forget when things happened.
It could be 2017 for
exactly.
what I know. It's like
I started, and prior to that actually, I had a processing stint, if I may, where a lot of my images were quite highlighted and bright.
Yes.
And I then moved into quite a dark theme.
Yeah.
And I started challenging myself to process images to make it a lot more moody, dramatic, and dark. And
you did a lot of monochromes now last while.
Yes, and I love it. I mean, you learn so much in doing that.
But that's the thing. I mean, your mood needs to reflect. I remember I worked in the Seychelles many years ago, and initially it was fine. Then it was bad. Everything, the management was bad. Everything was bad. And I was doing photography at the time, landscapes, and I would go and make heavy black and white of this beautiful tropical scene. And looking back now, I'm like, fuck, what the hell, bro? Why not? But that was the mood. So imagine if a client could say to you, I would love this, anybody listening, if you're going through a tough time in your life and you want an outlet, say to us, listen, take me to Amboseli, the Mara Pools, and tell me your mood, and let's create for your mood as an outlet. That would be sick.
Mood-driven safari. Yes.
But photographically, so you're looking for the mood, the dark textures, shadows, and then eventually
you work that light.
You work that, and you start bringing pieces of light in, which could be a parallel for your mindset. I mean,
big time.
That would turn me on.
Yeah.
To look for that and to have that kind of information from the client. It is, for those of you listening, if you ever do book a private with us, tell us as much as you can. What do you expect? What do you want? Yeah. What do you want from us? Do you want us to focus on processing? Do you want us just to babysit you with your regular process, or do you want us to give you more value?
Enhance that.
Because be open to that. Tell me what kind of images you want. Tell Mike the mood you want to create. Tell us the portfolio. Is this for sale? Is this for print? Then we can work.
Yeah. And
I think if you and I and our guys can react to that, process sorts itself out.
For sure. And I mean,
that's actually really interesting.
It is very. I mean, we mentioned this early on, is we can't, and I struggle if people aren't asking me questions.
Yeah.
I struggle.
Yeah.
And it was like getting guiding as well. You can elaborate as much as you want and babble.
Yeah.
But
people
it kind
just
of
sit
feels
there
like
at the
there's
back.
no flow to it then.
Yeah.
Whereas if people start asking things and you can kind of feed off of this energy and the things they're asking.
Energy is huge.
That's when
it is massive.
That's when things explode. That's when it really runs like wildfire.
I'm trying to think, who's the New York street photographer? What's his name? I should know this. He always wears a little hat. Anyway, here's Maisel. Jay Maisel, is it? Jay Maisel? Something? One of his students asked him, how do I make more interesting pictures? And he said, become a more interesting person.
100%.
Go and watch movies. Go and watch Star Wars. You watched Lion King. No, you weren't
Not
here.
yet, dude.
Bro.
I still haven't watched it. I'm watching it tomorrow. Friday. What's tomorrow? Friday.
So
I'm watching it tomorrow.
In Lion King, I'm sitting there. So we're hosting this thing. I'm watching this movie. And all the time I'm thinking, that. I want to photograph this. None of it's going to ever happen because it's not real. But that stimulates your mind.
Exactly.
Watching, what did I watch recently? Avengers, Endgame. There's the one scene. Have you seen that?
Not yet.
I've got it inside if you want it.
I've got it on my hard drive.
Oh, nice. You should watch it now. Go home.
Thank you.
There's this one scene.
We got evidence of that.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. What day is this? So, there's this one scene at the end where Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor walk out of the exploded area. There's this vast landscape which has been exploded because Thanos landed there. Okay. And he's sitting there as this soft beam of light on him.
Oh, man.
I'm thinking composition. My mind thinks monopools.
Exactly.
Watch more content, read things, look at magazines, because then it becomes interesting.
Exactly. It's crazy how much you can also
pick
up on things in documentaries or movies, and you want to pause and you're like, fuck, that scene is just incredible. Keep going.
Yeah. But now you filed it.
Exactly.
And I
subconsciously
think, as a client, I think the responsibility on the client, and it is a responsibility because you're paying a lot of money for us to do what we do.
Exactly.
So maximize that. If we ask you for images, give us images.
Exactly.
If I ask, what do you want, tell me. I back myself and any of my guys, Mike, all the guys included, that they will deliver. But it's very difficult doing it if there's not a flow.
Exactly.
That's how you're going to maximize, I think, the private guided experience.
For sure.
Big time.
Yeah, just dig deeper.
Sure.
Get answers, get questions.
What else?
Yeah, 100%.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was good.
There's some stuff I think we'll offline one or two smaller things later, but I think overall that's quite interesting.
No, it was a good chat. And, I mean, we've also branched off of the highs and lows. There's a few things we've kind of branched out and expanded on, but I mean, that's going to be future great content.
The one thing, yeah, absolutely. This, when you come back after your next Mora.
What were your highs and lows?
Yeah. I think now what's interesting is the guys who are asking about getting into the industry.
Yes.
I wonder, and if any of you guys listening that are in the industry or you want to get in, are you thinking there, holy shit, no thank you. But this is the challenge, it's a struggle. We can't just make like it's real all the time. I don't always know what I'm talking about. However, and you said it early on, when you teach, you're always 3 steps ahead. And that's the point. We have to keep ourselves educated on new things, on different genres and so on, because that's where the real value is.
100%.
Really is.
100%, yeah.
Very nice talk. I like it.
That was a lot of fun.
Mike, where can people get hold of you?
They can get hold of me on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
Michael Laupscher, as well as on Facebook.
Are you still posting on Facebook?
Yeah, blog posts.
I think
things
the
like
bad,
that,
eh?
but it's also, yeah, I've also been very dormant.
Are you doing TikTok?
I don't know what TikTok is, so no.
So no. No.
What is TikTok?
I actually downloaded it a couple of days ago. TikTok it's probably the only social media platform that's growing that nobody knows about. So there's nothing else really up and coming.
Okay.
But it's short videos. It's very much like Vine, if I understand it correctly. Vine in the old days was 6-second videos.
Okay.
I downloaded it yesterday, played with it. I don't understand it yet, and I can't. It's quite a young demo, but it's interesting.
check it
I
out,
don't know yet what I'm going to do with it.
6-second videos.
I'm not sure if TikTok is this. It used to be Vine, but
Okay.
it's a very young audience. And from what I saw this morning, there's just people doing like lip syncing and dancing and stuff. But I'm not going to do that.
Of course not. No.
So I don't know. It's just interesting to see.
Okay.
Right,
Definitely
Mike.
get
Thank you
checked
so
out
much.
there. Thank you.
We are going to
Appreciate it.
follow up on some of these, definitely. Guys, if you have any questions for Mike, please get hold of him. He's off to the Mara when?
I am
Next
off. Yeah, next week. So, and I forgot about the email address. If you want to get hold
Oh,
of me.
yeah.
there.
His email address.
Yeah, michael@wild-i.co.za.
There it is. Go follow him on Instagram, Stories from the Mara. If you have any questions on a private guided trip, if you have any deeper questions on this, email us. Happy to discuss this on a Skype or a email or whatever the case is. But I think it's important for us to go down these roads because it's real.
100%. And yeah, just remember, your questions make our life easier.
100%. Even with the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the stuff here is based off questions. So please ask me more questions.
Yeah.
Guys, as always, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you lending us your ears. If you enjoy the podcast, please share it with a friend. If you know of a guide who needs to hear this, please share it with them. If you know of someone wanting to book a private guided safari, please share this with them so that they can get the best out of it. I really mean that. But thank you so much for your time. Again, please let me know where you are listening from. I've had walking dogs. There's someone that did dissecting mosquitoes, which was a hero one. That's pretty cool.
bloody
I don't know, you could do that.
Yes, just imagine it.
That's pretty sick. But yeah, I mean, I hear train rides, planes, so it's just nice. I mean, your engagement and comments is like oxygen to us, and it really means a lot. But I will chat to you in the next episode. Mike will be back very soon, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll be back.
And we'll see you in the next episode. My name is Gerry.
My name's Mike.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.